Zoom recording. All right, it's 2:38 and we're holding the meeting on Zoom still due to COVID-19. Do you want to get started with public comment?
Who's our vice chair, Pete? Pete, you're in charge until Urshad gets here. Sorry, Ellen, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah.
Oh, public comments?
Hi, are you ready for public comment?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm commenting on something that is on the agenda to be voted on. So I hope that the four of you will support the reason I'm speaking. And I'm Ellen Doppelt. I'm the executive director of the Jewish Neighborhood Development Council of Chicago. And I'm speaking to voice our organization's support for moving forward with a pigeon abatement plan. I've attended the last few SSA meetings, and each time the plan has been tabled, all the while the mess seems to be getting worse. The eyesore on Devon is worse than it was before. To quote one of the business owners on the corner of Devon and Richmond, he indicates that he thinks the pigeon issue is in crisis mode. So I hope that today a plan can be approved to eradicate this crisis mode on Devon and as far as the pigeon issue is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's next here?
Anyone else for public comment?
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm also asking for your support in voting to approve a partnership with Westridge Community Response Team. I know we've sent very thorough proposal that was really based in all of your priorities from the 2021 meetings. At some point, it got misconstrued as a charity effort, but this is really mutual in every aspect of it. You know, on one hand, we're asking you to use tax dollars to directly support businesses and also neighbors, and indirectly, we are offering that support to come right back to the businesses, right from our neighbors here in the district and also across Chicago. I heard some concern that IAC is not in the district. The fridge is 1.5 blocks outside of the district. But again, this is not unlike when food was given to first responders outside of the district. And 1.5 blocks outside, you know, that brings people to the area. You have your needs met. You're not worried about your food. You can probably go over to that corner store and buy the pressure cooker you've had your eyes on, right? I know I gave much more detailed analytics, and I also mentioned, you know, some of what we saw out of your analytics from Big Buzz. But just our very last post on the fridge that we made, it reached 2,000 people. We got 290 engagements, 104 reactions, 18 comments, 14 photo views, and 151 clicks on our site. That was just from 3 shares, and we didn't even boost it. 3 shares, all organic, no boosting. You know, this is the sort of thing we can bring. We also have partnership with Love Fridge. We got media releases, media contacts. This is absolutely in line with your priorities, and the goal is to be mutually supportive. We want Devon to thrive. We have a history of investing in that, and we want our neighbors to thrive too. So, oh, and also just to clarify, we're also not asking to be the middleman of the money. So we thought that was clear in the proposal, but just want to clarify that right now. In no way are we asking for the money to come directly to us.
All right, anybody else for public comment? We do have a quorum now.
I would just like to say I'm Sarah Stigberg. I'm also on a member of the Westridge Community Response Team, and I would like to second what Hallie said. We think this could be a really wonderful opportunity for supporting the Devon corridor and the entire community as well.
All right, Pete, you're still chair, it looks like, if you want to call up the next item.
Yeah, let's do that. We have the approval of minutes from the May meeting. I motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
Oh, can I motion?
Yeah, you can.
All right, there we go.
All right, all in favor of approval of the minutes?
Yeah, all in favor.
All right,
Anybody opposed?
Nope. All
all
right,
right.
old business. I suppose we'll start with the WRCRT proposal. Do we have a motion to approve?
Can you read the proposal again? I didn't hear the proposal.
Just emailed around for last meeting. Let me see if I can pull that up on screen share without losing the agenda. Well, I'm looking for the file here. Does anybody, any discussion or alternative proposals that anybody want to bring up? We didn't really have a whole lot of questions that were shared via email after last meeting.
We also need to know what the specific motion is going to be.
Is it to approve the proposal as is? I suppose, I mean, if anyone wants to make any kind of alterations, they'd have to, I guess.
We don't have to. We could do whatever we want.
Right.
We could alter it. We could give them whatever we want. It's not like it's that everything or nothing.
Right. Exactly. But the proposal's for 30,000. Correct?
Correct. That's here, like I have the first page executive summary up. I can make it bigger if people need. But the request is for $30,000 for purchasing goods from businesses in the district.
If you wouldn't mind scrolling through to show the rest of it, 'cause that's just a piece of the proposal. So if people are unfamiliar with, the other half that we bring to the table, it's probably important ahead of a vote to share.
There's also this piece about, matching restaurant orders with donations for the project.
Yeah, that's just a suggested way to use the 30,000. Again, the proposal is to work together with you and use, sort of our platform and our innovative ideas and all the momentum we have and the connections to greater Chicago to bring people to the ward, but use your expertise on the businesses here in the community too.
So do we have a motion that has been suggested already from the last meetings?
There have been no
Nobody
motion.
needs to make a motion.
No
All
motion.
right, fine. I'll make a motion. Perhaps 30,000 isn't palatable for everyone here and they're not sure of it. So I'll make a motion that we agree to this proposal for 10,000.
Can you repeat that, Pete?
I'm making a motion to agree to this proposal, but for 10,000 instead of 30,000.
You know, and I'm sorry, I'm just like, sorry if I just don't understand what I just have a hard time understanding the proposal. Uh-oh.
I'm hearing feedback from somebody. Folks, if you're not speaking, could you mute yourself? I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, I think what Maura is saying is, and then today Hallie said that monies would not go directly to their organization to spend in the business district, but instead it sounds like we would spend those monies. And I guess I just need that affirmed or confirmed. Are we spending the monies in the district with the businesses and then requiring them to send those goods or food purchases to Westridge? Or how will these purchases be funneled back to Westridge so that there is this partnership that they're requesting?
Through the free fridge, I wonder, is it possible to put the proposal again in the chat so people can read it? Because it really has a lot of detail on that. That might clarify some of the, thank you. I'm just on my phone, not my computer. I would put it in the chat for you.
So Rebecca, in answer to your question, I would think that the easiest thing for us to do would be to spend money on Devon Avenue and bring it, have it delivered to the center. So, and then it can be distributed through the center, which is right on California off of Devon. Like Hallie said, it's like a block and a half off of Devon. So it's right there on California. But if we can maybe place orders with our local businesses and ask them to just deliver it to center, and then we would just pay the bill, basically.
Okay.
And I'm, from what I'm hearing from Pete, it would be similar to what we did with the food delivery. You know, we had a cap for the amount of money that we were going to spend for that. And I'm assuming that Pete's saying, you know, the $10,000 cap, we could always revisit it if it's successful.
I just thought it might assuage people that are more uncomfortable with this.
Right.
That's why I dropped it to 10,000.
And I did I put a Google Chat link in there if folks want to look through the document some more. Sorry.
So I guess what I see happening is we're going to work with Hallie. Hallie is going to tell us what the greatest need is. We're going to find a business on Devon that supplies that item, purchase it, give it to the center. They will then distribute it.
We're actually happy to work with you on the biggest needs of like businesses that need boosting, because the other piece of it is pairing it with the social media. So you highlight what's being donated to the fridge by the SSA, like with SSA funds. And then for like every receipt that store gets, then you don't need to worry about training employees or anything. That's, you know, a similar purchase will be made and then donated to the fridge. We are totally flexible on how that'll work. And, you know, using your expertise, the idea was that we use this to also not only help the businesses with that direct cash purchase funded by SSA, but also to drive more people. And then, you know, you just have a cap that up to 30,000. So if you get like, you know, $30,000 worth of receipts on the first day, which I doubt anyone's anticipating, but you're not on the hook to keep going. So more like a monetary limit rather than a time limit. But again,
I'm not sure what you're saying about I'm not sure what you're saying about the receipts.
Yeah. So
we would be making the purchases, right?
Right. Well, let's say you're profiling a restaurant, like the one graphic showed there. The idea is you profile you put it on social media. We would put it through all of our platforms. And it's like, yeah, for every receipt, for every like dining experience at this restaurant this weekend, the SSA will purchase an equivalent amount or 3 times amount, whatever you guys think is best, in donations to the free fridge. So then they get the support from the community that wants to go out there so that this restaurant can also get the additional support, and that community members can get the additional support. And then the other thing, we just need the tamper-free stickers to go on the to-go boxes.
So if that happens, that would reduce the contribution, I think, because there would be a lot of costs involved on our end to do all that social media planning and.
We would do the social media part. That's what we mean in terms of this being like mutual. We would boost that on social media from our platform, from ICE, from Indo-American Center, and from the Love Fridge.
Who would be creating the social media content?
We can create it and you guys can approve it if that works.
So we
create all of our own social media. I created this one. That's an example right here.
That would require a lot more conversation, I think.
Okay, I mean, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. It was just our idea to help boost more business to the Devon corridor.
I think that's a lot bigger, more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more staff time required to do what you're suggesting than what we have.
Why is that, Sandy? I mean, isn't it just, wouldn't they just post make a social media page and then send it out? I mean, what is it?
No, it's really not that easy, especially when we've been branding what we, everything that we've been doing for the On Devon stuff. And we have a social media company that we're currently working with. And so they'd have to be brought in on that.
I mean, we could do all of that from our page, even if you don't want to reshare it from the On Devon page, that's fine. But we could at least boost business to Devon from our side.
Yeah, I don't see how that would hurt at all.
And then who's going to keep track of the receipts? Who's going to do all that stuff?
Yeah.
Just the business owner could say, and we're fine operating on trust. I don't know about you guys, but the business owner could say like, yeah, we served, 60 families this weekend. And that's it, and then, okay, so we're going to get 60, we're going to buy 60 more of whatever the deal was to put in the free fridge.
I'm sorry. It sounds like a logistical nightmare to me.
That part does.
And I don't understand how, I'm just trying to get my mind around how the people in need, how our services, what the connection is between what we can provide, like restaurant owners, like they will give the food to these people in need, but is this really what the people need, or do they I'm trying to
so we run a help hotline in 7 languages, and we do food is definitely something that people need, and they do. Love Fridge is something that is all over Chicago, and a lot of Love Fridges do use to-go boxes with tamper stickers on it. So that's a thing that's been done and it's successful, and food is taken in that way. Our food goes really fast. We stock the fridge and within 2 hours it's empty again. Our help hotline, we also have lots of other things that are frequently requested. Pressure cookers are one of them. We had that huge resource fair the other weekend. I'm sorry you guys weren't able to attend, but we got lots of things to give away. The longest line was for rugs, hallway rug liners. So there are things, and we did get lots of requests for rugs too in the winter when it was cold, just to help insulate homes, fans, that's requested a lot, all sorts of things. But the idea is if people's basic needs are met, if businesses have a little boost and people are now going to Devon to buy things that they could go to Walmart for, it's a win-win. And if your needs are met, then you have that little extra money to go spend on, whatever other Devon shopping that you've wanted to, but hasn't been able to be a priority.
Like when I think of this, Hallie, it feels like it's a great idea for the holidays where these families and they get this amazing, meal from a special restaurant, or it feels like, maybe I'm just envisioning it wrong, but it feels like it would be a great thing to do where it could be more catered to our restaurants. I mean, all these things that you're saying, the rugs and everything, I just don't know. I'm just like having a hard time seeing the connection, but when I think about like
Yeah.
various holidays, like whatever, you know, that come up,
Yeah,
I think
you
it's
know,
like so
originally we
special.
proposed in time for Ramadan.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we're happy to like say, yeah, we'll do this program, but we'll start it during these dates and we can get all our ducks in a row for that. But and you know, that flexibility is great and it might also attract more people down. But really our hotline, we just filled 12 requests that came into our hotline. So it's really that never stops. You know, people are still hurting.
Well, we're buying food and putting it into the love fridge, essentially. That's what we're doing.
That works. I think we wanted to default to you guys on exactly which businesses need the most hosting. We do have dry storage shelves as well.
So
Who's in the background
The-
there?
Yeah, folks, let's try to have everybody that's not talking mute so that we don't have the background noise.
Who's that? Rashad, is that you?
Yeah,
I'm
who's,
here, but I'm muted.
okay, because I was gonna say, it looks like the 9982 phone number is lighting up.
Okay, but no, right now. Okay, so we gotta find out. Really? Come on, bud.
Can't you mute them, Cindy?
Get your hair out of your face, dude.
Thank you. Now
Can I-
everyone-
can I put a second motion on the table? Based on what we,
You have to either, we have to vote on the first motion or the person who made it has to withdraw it before we do a second motion.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll withdraw the first motion so I can hear the second motion.
okay. The motion I'd like to make is we take the top 3 needed items from this organization. And then we purchase those items in order to partner with them. But we purchase them from the businesses in the district, and I put the limit at 5,000.
All in favor? Anybody comment?
We need a second. We need a second to the motion.
Anybody second?
I think that's a good idea. I approve.
Second.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Laura, you're seconding the motion. We heard you.
I second the motion, yes.
All right, Arshad.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the yes?
Hey guys,
Your
can we
name?
just repeat what the motion was again? Sorry, I was getting a lot of static.
The motion is take the top 3 items needed by Westridge, use monies from the SSA to purchase those from the businesses within the SSA, and limit is $5,000.
Mhm.
This is going to be a bit complicated still, right? Because we have to, how do you
Yeah.
pick the businesses and are we picking them out of a hat? How does this work?
Yeah, well,
That's
I mean,
fine.
but
We
like
could-
if
we
it's
could share
broad,
the wealth. We could pick like
Yeah.
10 businesses that have it
Are
and do
you guys-
$500 each or
Well,
something.
anyway, I vote yay, so.
Hold on, guys, let's discuss real quick. We want to get into this. How do we decide what business gets what? And is it cost effective to buy on Devon rather than buying from like a warehouse and
It
donating?
doesn't matter if it's cost effective. We are spending it on
absolutely
demand.
does. You're doing it for a good cause. You want to give more if you can, right? You don't want to, oh yeah, let's spend twice as much and give it just to help a business on Devon. That's not how it works.
Yeah, actually it is. It is how it works. We want to spend the
Yeah.
money here.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
When we were doing gloves and everything else, we went to every avenue to save money so we can buy more and give more, right? I mean, that was the purpose of us doing the whole,
Well,
But
This-
Arsha, we're meeting 2 purposes. We're meeting the SSA and we're meeting the West Ridge proposal. So to
I'm not
try
arguing,
and
I'm just-
marry the
just
2.
2 cents. That's all. I'm just putting my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And I think that the difference on that, Urshad, was the fact that like we were buying gloves and masks and sanitizer to distribute to the businesses in the district for them to use to try and encourage customers to come back by demonstrating that they're, being safe. So like, even though those items, although some of the items were purchased from businesses within the district because they were being used in the district, like that's okay. Like we just have to show that there's an excess of money being spent in the district, or that the stuff that we're buying is being used in the district. So for this, it's like, yeah, the fridge might not be in the district, but if the money is being spent at local restaurants and local stores, that's okay under the SSA guidelines. Just like how last year it was okay for us to spend money at the restaurants, even though we were giving the food to the hospitals that were outside the district. The need really was that our restaurants needed business to stay afloat, so we spent money to order food from there.
Okay, there's a motion on it. There's no more discussion. You have Maura seconded Rebecca's motion, so whoever's favor, please say your name and.
Pete says
Avi.
yes.
Avi, yes.
Avi, yes. Jay? Who's Jay?
I'm just gonna abstain from this because I think we're gonna get into some controversy about which restaurants we're picking to do this, and I don't know.
How much do you think is? I mean,
No,
we're not
no,
talking about millions of dollars here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to abstain from
Each
voting.
restaurant is gonna get $500. Not gonna make any difference to anybody's pocket, really.
Yeah, like
So
10 restaurants,
Rebecca-
$500 each, or whatever, whatever.
That's not a lot of money.
All right, guys, once we're voting, the discussion should end and we need to continue voting.
Yeah, so I have Pete, Avi, and Maura voting yes. I have Jay abstaining. Need to hear from other folks. Rebecca?
I'm in favor.
All right, Sunita?
I'm abstaining. I need more time to analyze.
All right,
Who am I missing?
Nate's here.
Janae's not here. Urshad?
I'm abstaining also.
How much are we gonna drag our feet on this? It's
It's not
$5,000.
dragging.
Going to good
Fine,
cause.
free, no dragging.
I got
Because
it.
Well, why are you
meeting-
abstaining? Just vote no.
Okay, I vote no.
Every meeting we're having, you guys spending half an hour, 45 minutes on this, and then we're gonna go to the next
We
meeting.
don't give money out to organizations. I mean, have you seen us give anybody money before?
Well-
But they're buying from the businesses here, and we're gonna give it out to the people that live in this community. So this is a one-time thing and done.
Okay, that's fine.
Cindy, did you get everybody?
I currently have Pete, Avi, and Maura voting yes, and Rebecca voting yes. So we have 4 yeses and 3 abstentions.
I think Urshad changed his abstention to a no.
Oh, that's right. So 2
Is that
abstentions
everybody?
and 1 no.
So it goes through, right?
Motion passes.
Yeah, so it's done.
Yeah, that's fine. That's it.
It's a learning experience. We'll try it. We'll see how it goes. And then we can always,
No, it's something new for us, that's all. So Haley, don't take it personal. We've just never done something like this before, and
Right.
it's kind of a questionable area.
I suggest if we're gonna do this next time, there's gonna be another charity, not the same one over and over. We have to, if you're gonna do something like this, it's gotta be
You gotta
two
split it
other.
up, yeah.
I agree.
Exactly.
It could,
Preferable that's in the SSA would be nice to help out, right?
Right.
There are probably other charities in the SSA.
I also
Yeah.
like the social media aspect of it, and it'll look good for us too. So I don't
agree.
think there's a downside here.
No,
Anyway, lighting replacement.
All right.
wait. Yeah.
Well, I guess Urshad's here, so you're technically chair.
Right,
Or
right,
is
I
Urshad
forgot,
still here?
right. Good.
Urshad, are you here?
Go over, Pete.
Okay, all right. So yeah, next item up is lighting replacement. I've been in contact
I
with,
asked-
oh, sorry, yeah.
Sorry, we can get Scott on the phone and maybe do something different rather than the same lights, but I don't know if we ever got in touch with him.
I reached out to him, and he was on the road today. He was gonna start looking into some additional, alternatives, but wasn't, he didn't feel great about the stringing lights between the poles, in that it'll be less lighting, that it won't be as visible. And we're also not entirely clear on whether CDOT will actually allow us to do that. From working with them on some other projects, they don't currently have like a permitting system in place for installation of lights above the public right of way. So that sounds like it's going to be kind of a nightmare, because when we've done things with CDOT that no one has done before, sometimes getting the permits to do that sort of stuff takes 2 years, versus doing this. We've already done it before, so we know we can do it again. We have the pricing. You know, I think from where I'm sitting, I would recommend starting with replacement of the lighting system that we have and have had before. And then adding on to it in future years, maybe with, you know, some additional lighting, and additional design. Because we're getting late enough in the year that with the backlog on supply chain, in order to do anything this year, like, we're going to have to order as soon as we can. And we do have the money to do it. So I recommend as staff moving forward with replacement of the lighting that we've had before.
Cindy, can you make a motion and vote on this?
Yeah, if somebody wants to make a motion, let's go.
What's the total?
So it varies. So it depends. She's trying to sort out still whether or not the tariffs apply to the ordering of the lights from the manufacturer. If the tariffs do not apply, the cost is $38,000. If the tariffs do apply, it's $43,000.
Can somebody make a motion?
Is that for the same exact thing that we got?
Yeah, it'll be, but hopefully with a more durable product. And that was part of the holdup when they were trying to secure quotes from the suppliers.
Is there any warranty on this?
There historically hasn't been, but generally for lights like this, you know, at least a couple of years is sort of the expected lifespan. And as part of this contract, he is building in some purchasing of extra stuff so that when things break, they can be replaced.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we first did it too, he said if there's, you know, anything goes out, he'll come out, he'll fix it. And I think the first 1 or 2 times he was taking care of it. But then once it got to a point where 5, 10, 8, you know, many of them were going out, then I think he just started backing off also. So
well, and I think part of it was that he'd run out of the extra parts that were ordered as part of the initial contract too.
Okay.
Jay, he told us the light, I know it was 3 or 5 years when he did do it.
Right.
I motion to approve the lighting replacement.
I second. Jay.
Is this the lights that goes around the pole?
Yeah, that he can change the different colors, so like we can have them, you know, reprogrammed and do different stuff.
How much did you pay first time?
$35,000 was what was done a couple of years before I started, when Gina was still doing it. That was what was in the records. But the costs have gone up just because of all the supply chain weirdness.
And they're going to replace all of them?
Yes, 108 poles.
Okay. I guess so.
We have a motion on the table. Can we get some votes?
I support the motion, Rebecca.
I approve.
I approve, Sanhita.
I approve.
Any nays? All in favor?
Can we just have some warranty information?
I'll request that from him, or, you know, ask him about, you know, what kind of quantity he's going to get of replacement parts. But we'll work with him.
Yeah, I think
Pete, aye.
Thanks, Pete.
I don't think we have any nays, so it's passed. All in favor, right?
Great.
All right.
Murals.
Design.
Mural designs, unfortunately, it's still in update mode. I did speak with the artist that we've been in contact with this morning. He is still working on it. He's really excited about the project. He's just been busy and was doing additional research on potential subject matter. It sounds like we're moving toward maybe a Bollywood themed installation, which sounds really cool. We should have draft designs by the end of this week, and I'm going to keep his feet to the fire on that. So be on the lookout for emails, and we can sort of tackle the, you know, selection of designs, I think between now and next meeting, and get started on something, hopefully by the end of the summer, because the schedule is booking up.
Did we choose the wall?
So yes, the two walls that actually we had talked about were, where are my notes? The one on the side by Annapurna, so Devon and not Campbell, what's that cross street? It's a block west of Campbell. Yeah, the side of Annapurna, and then the other wall was around the corner from Uruswati. So we have like sort of the one wall facing west. So if you're driving east on Devon, like you see a lot of that wall, and then the other wall fronts on a sidewalk cafe patio and is visible for anyone driving west on Devon from the east. So we've identified at least those two, and are still working on getting in contact with Croatian Cultural Center about their wall. And I'm interested in talking to a couple of the property owners on Western as well. But at least those two people have the first two, so Uruswati Wall and Annapurna, those building owners are on board with hosting a mural. But they just, they want to see designs, and we need to pick designs.
I tried to reach out to Nick Soldo, who's the president at Croatian Cultural Center. He's a guy I know, but I think there was some kind of mix up, but I'll try again tonight. So I think those guys will be very receptive.
Yeah, because I want to talk to them about pigeons too. All right. Yeah, that's all I have on murals. I'm really hoping that we can get something in everyone's inbox by the end of the week. And the next item is the pigeon abatement piece. So I have been in contact with 3 different exterminators. They all sort of have varying recommendations. 2 recommend bait. 1 recommends just physical pigeon exclusion installations. So things like the spikes and the electric shock tracks and things like that. They're all like around the same-ish $5,000 a building price point. But the 2 that I've talked about that are sort of encouraging bait, I think made a good point that, since part of the problem that we have on Devon is and has been, like, a lot of times it's visitors or residents will put the seed out and feed them. And I've told our litter cleanup vendor to be mindful of that and pick it up like whenever they see it so that it doesn't linger and continue to draw pigeons. But knowing that that is a good part of the issue, that points to bait potentially being more effective, since we know that the pigeon populations that we have are inclined to eat like the seed that gets left out on Devon. And that doing it will discourage them from eating seed when it is put out. So I've gotten those 2 quotes. I've been in contact with a couple of the building owners, including the gentleman at Devon and Richmond. I've tried to reach out to my contact at Croatian Cultural Center, and a couple other folks, business owners that are like interested in trying to do something. And I think the question for the group as SSA commissioners is, do we want to set up or structure this as a 50-50 rebate type program like we do for BIP and leave it up to individual businesses or building owners to decide what kind of pigeon abatement to undertake at their property? Or do we want to have it be a bulk contract like we do for things like landscaping and litter, where we have like specific blocks or buildings that we do it at, which would be a cost of about $5,000 a year, like for each one. Pete recommended one of the guys that I did get a quote from, which was that $5,000 per building / block price point. That guy said he did offer a 2-year warranty. And I know, Pete, I don't know if you've got any like sort of updates to share as to how that's been going as you've been testing it out at your properties. But we've got a couple different ways we can structure it.
He just finished with the baiting last week. And it's so far, it looks pretty good. There are still some stragglers around. But I will say and I know this, there used to be the corner building was covered with pigeons every day, and they're gone. So I don't know. I mean, that's all I got so far because it's still pretty fresh. However, I feel pretty confident about it, and he's gonna clean up too, whatever pigeon stuff is around. As far as the cost goes, whether we should split it or take up the whole cost, it's kind of pricey. So when you're asking a building owner to cough up $2,500 if you're doing 50%, that's a lot of people are going to say no. I think maybe we do it, but only in strategic locations. We just pick a handful of locations, keep it within that budget, and go with it and do the 100% coverage.
Pete, are you finding dead pigeons lying around, or what's happening to them?
I haven't seen one single dead pigeon. They're just not here. My neighbor, I do have one problem. My neighbor here at Farm City, I love the guy to death, but he's got tenants that feed the pigeons through their window. I have a light well between our two buildings, and they leave the windows open, and the pigeons nest there because they feed them. They through their apartments. And I've told him about it, and he's cleaned it a couple times, but other than that, he's really hasn't been cooperative with this. So, but I mean, I'm sorry, but I like the guy, but he's just really not doing much about it. So, so that is the one obstacle I do, because I just went up there today, and there are some pigeons still there, but there's none on the building. So,
Pete, what did he use did he use bait or spikes?
He uses bait. It's I forgot the name of it. So what they do is, for about a month, essentially, they put feed out, and the feed is up on the roof, and they have they even put a little camera there so you can see the pigeons. He takes pictures of it. The pigeons get used to coming there and eating there, and after a month, he throws in the toxin along with the feed, and they eat that, and they don't like it, and they leave. So it's the same kind of stuff they use on farms and cattle ranches and things like that, for keeping the birds away from their crops and such. But like I said, it just happened, really. It's still pretty new. So I don't know if I've seen the full results yet, but so we'll see, I suppose. But I like the idea, and I know that it's worked elsewhere.
All right, somebody make a motion.
I want to do this. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'll make a motion. I want to do this.
Well, you want to do everything. How do we decide what building?
Well, we can find the hot spots. We can find some hot spots.
When I got quotes from exterminators, I kind of listed out addresses based on who's got the most pigeon mess on their awnings, on their sidewalks. So the building at Devon and Richmond is kind of the top priority for that, but also the building where Karachi Chat House is located. There's a hair salon a bit further east that's got a pretty bad pigeon problem. Croatian Cultural Center's got quite a lot of them. So those are sort of like the top four, and those are the addresses that I provided to exterminators when getting quotes.
So would it be 5,000? So is it 5,000 for each of those areas, or is it 5,000 for the project, so to speak?
So it'd be like 5,000 per block, basically. Because you do it on the roof of one building, but that, could, hopefully would deter pigeons on like that whole surrounding block. So you'd get like the Richmond block where that building is, then the block where Croatian Center is, and then the two that I mentioned that are further east where it's been an issue.
It's usually, from my understanding, it's a couple of buildings at least, because it's really about the flock. So if the pigeons flock, so if a few of the pigeons sense this toxin, then they all leave, but of that flock. So the other flock might be elsewhere, so anyway, but I think it works for at least a couple, 3 buildings,
Yeah.
At least a few buildings.
And
around.
it's we could do this as a pilot, start this year. If it seems to be working, we can continue it or not. I did include this as a line item in starting to pull together numbers for draft budgets for 2022. But you know, it's,
Yes.
I feel like the number of complaints that I've been getting from businesses and from the ward office about pigeon activity and pigeon mess has been on the upswing since the start of the year. So I think there definitely is a need for us to try something.
And if it doesn't work, we can also do the spikes and
Yeah.
whatever else. We can do that in addition to the.
I have a question. How do we know that these pigeons won't leave this block and won't go over to the next block, and then they have to pay for the next block, and they just, I mean, how do you know they just go away?
You don't.
You know.
I mean, what's gonna make them to, you know, okay, they don't like these feet that he puts out. They're not gonna leave the neighborhood. They'll move to the next building.
Well, it depends. But look, when you put spikes on a window, they might not sit on that window. They'll sit on the next window. It's the same problem. I mean, unless you kill them all, Avi, it's not gonna. You can't do anything. So.
And can they capture them and just take them to another place and let them go?
This isn't a circus. We're not gonna catch pigeons.
Why not? It's like traps or whatever it is.
Of the various exterminators that I've been in contact with, nobody I don't think anyone really does that. The options seem to pretty much be the hostile architecture approach with the spikes and the shock tracks and stuff, or this bait program. And I think the bait program has the potential to, it sounds like, impact a wider geographic area than just putting spikes on one building, because if you just put spikes on one building, yeah, they're going to move next door. And I think that's what we're seeing at Devon and Richmond, in part because, the synagogue across the street, I was over there the other day, that building is covered in pigeon spike. So there's no pigeons on that building. They're all across the street.
What kind of money are we spending on this? Can we get like an amount in place?
If we commit to the 5,000 per building for the year, and we do 3 buildings, that's 15. If we do 4 buildings, we're looking at 20. If we want to do 1 building as a test, then we're looking at 5. And that 1 building that we'll probably prioritize will be that Devon and Richmond building, because they've had the most frustration with it, and probably the biggest flock of pigeons on the building that I've seen so far.
So I don't want these people leaving that building and coming sitting on my building. That's the problem.
Right.
What happens then?
Abby, if they come to your building, you can catch them. Be fine.
Fried chicken, fried pigeon.
It's a delicacy in some countries.
It doesn't seem to me that it's a great solution. It's not a solution, because we're just passing the buck to the next building.
The other option is to do nothing. Really, I mean, what about, it's the same thing with rats or mice or whatever, roaches. Everything you do is going to chase them somewhere else. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if we had tigers, it would be the same problem.
At least the babies are cute.
So Pete, you started making a motion, but I don't think that you finished it.
I motion to approve the pigeon abatement program, that we pay 100% of it.
For
How many buildings?
How many
Oh, you're asking me how many buildings? Okay, since to assuage people again, let's start with the 1 building at Richmond and see how it works out. How about that?
Any seconds?
I do the second.
The feed or the spikes?
Cindy, what kind of money do we have in this account?
Oh,
In this line item?
the baiting program.
All right, we have a second, so we have a motion. Start voting.
I just want to know how much money we have in this program, because I think, if you're going to do it, might as well do more than one.
So we don't have anything in for this year, but we do have pretty substantial savings on our sidewalk cleaning. So we had budgeted $142,000 for litter pickup, weeds, and sidewalk. Our current contract with Clean Slate is only $67,000, and that's including all of the weed stuff, plus litter pickup 6 days a week, and the 4 times a year power washing. So I'm going to put it in that account code if I'm billing it, because that's where we have room in our budget. And it's a pretty good
through the
amount.
year or through June?
So the contract with Clean Slate is $67,000 for the year.
Okay.
versus 142 is what was budgeted. So we have.
If we have the money,
budget to
then do
put
5
there.
buildings.
Yeah, can we pick just areas and see how they move, or if they move out, maybe do 3 or 4 blocks at a time, and you know if that's 4 buildings, that area is clear. And let's see how long that lasts. And Pete, how sorry, I know we got a motion, but how long does this bait program go? How long does he take to do this?
About a month, a little over a month.
And then he doesn't come back after that?
He'll come back as needed.
And it's a charge every time he comes back?
Oh, it's not.
He does a warranty.
Yeah, it's just one
3-year
time.
warranty.
I've only paid for half of it so far. So as soon as he's finished, I'm going to pay for the other half.
Okay, so we have a motion, guys.
So hold on. I'm hearing that you want to increase the number from 1 business. So Pete, do you want to amend your motion to?
Up it to 5, Pete.
You like 5? Okay, let's go with 5. 5 locations,
And
5,000 each.
Sanhita, you seconded the
Yeah.
motion. Do you accept
Yes,
the?
Yes, I
Okay,
accept the amendment.
thank you.
Nita, Pete, who else? Let's go. Yes, yay.
I'm in favor.
Yes.
Jay, Nora,
Rebecca,
Rebecca,
All right, so
Avi.
I'm just thinking that if this problem goes to the next building, even if we approved 5, now we have to take care of that other building because it's not fair to them.
Avi, what's your vote is all we're asking. What's your vote?
At this juncture, I abstain.
Avi abstained.
Okay, so he'll probably be sending something today.
all right, so right now I have Pete, Rebecca, and Urshad voting yes. Who else did I miss for yes votes?
Jay,
Okay,
Yeah.
Benita, yes, obviously.
and you have Sanhita, right?
Nora said
All right, Maura, yay or nay?
Yes, I vote yes.
Voted yes. So,
All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 people voting yes, 1 abstention. The motion carries.
next.
I'd just like to throw something in there. Do you want me to give him a call and negotiate the rate?
All right.
Absolutely.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, if we give him a promise, like, hey, we're gonna start with 5, we want to do another 5, we want to do another 5, give him an
There you
idea
go.
what we want to do.
Yeah.
He'll bring it down to maybe
Cindy,
3,500, 4,000. Why not? We could get more buildings in.
Sure.
Cool.
Cindy said
Yeah.
no,
I
no.
bet you can get him for 4,000, I think, for
I
sure.
was thinking
especially if we're
4,000.
doing
I'm
4.
sure he'd run with us. Yeah. That way we can get 6
Yeah.
or 7 for the same amount of money.
That works.
So then what I'm hearing is the motion wasn't for 5 buildings. The motion was for $25,000,
Yeah, I think that's the right way to put it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Cool.
sure. Yes.
All right.
Next.
All right. Social media is just an update item. I wanted to share with everybody that Brad's finished doing all of the filming for the different businesses for the Only on Devon social media campaign. He joined us last week for the grand opening at Patel Brothers and did some footage there, including both the ribbon cutting and like the same format as like the Only on Devon videos where he talked to the owners and did a tour of the store. So we're really excited. He's doing some editing work on that this week. But we do have, the next 2-3 videos coming out this week. We've seen reasonably steady growth in terms of social media, followers for the Instagram and Facebook. I'll send around a report from Silverman once I get it for the month. Yeah, we've been sort of continuing, but that campaign's got a few more weeks left as we trickle out the videos that have been made. But it might be time to start thinking about, what's the next thing? Like, what do we do after this to continue sort of promoting Devon on digital? But yeah, that's my update. And then if we're okay with, if there aren't any questions about social media, I'll give the rundown on planters and landscaping updates as well. We did talk about that at last meeting, and it seemed like there was some interest in increasing the number of sidewalk planter pots and also increasing the density of plantings in the 27 in-ground planting bed areas that are part of our landscape contract with Brightview. So I went and met up with our rep there, walked the district last week or the week before, to sort of get an assessment of like, what's current conditions, where could new planters go? So we currently have 127 planters on the sidewalk, the big concrete round ones. We identified sites that could take 20 more, mostly on Western, and then the portions of the SSA east of the area that was included in the streetscape, which I believe ends at Bell. So the blocks east of Bell, and then the blocks of Western that are part of the district. They're developing a proposal for us now to purchase the additional planters and put dirt in them. And they're also going to prepare a proposal to add some more perennials and shrubbery to those in-ground planting areas, because that was something that came up from this group at the last meeting where, yeah, some of those in-ground beds do look a bit naked, and it's been attracting litter. So the hope is that adding additional perennial plantings to them will not only discourage littering, but you just make those corners look more appealing, and sort of further beautify the district. And also just discourage littering, hide any litter that's there, because right now if somebody throws something in the plants, there's not a lot of plants for it to be hidden by. So I don't have those figures yet, but Brightview will be getting them to me shortly. And landscaping, again, is another one of these budget areas where we have a pretty significant savings in terms of what we've budgeted for 2021 versus what we're actually paying. So our budget amount for landscaping in 2021 was $70,000, but our actual contract with Brightview this year ended up only being $42,000. So we've got savings, we've got room in our budget to expand our landscape program. So I'm waiting to get quotes from them as to like how much it's actually going to cost to do the scope that we're considering. But once I have that, I'll share it with you. So this item will probably return to the next meeting, but I just want to let everybody know that I've been working on it the last couple of weeks, and I'm just waiting on vendor quotes. Next, I've got an item on here still for, continued discussion item on. Oh yeah, what's up?
Sorry to jump the gun. I saw some email. I think I don't remember who sent it. The planters that were on the poles. Did you add that to like get a quote on that? How much it's going to cost us if we want to add that?
So I did reach out to my contact at CDOT, and the poles that are currently there are not rated for the load of those. So unfortunately, that's not going to be an option for our district because of just the fact that the poles have to be poles that are built with that in mind. And ours are not. And plus, they're new enough poles that they're not likely to change the poles anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Can I just add the other issue with those planters is it's really expensive to water them. So when we have our, like Brightview comes out, part of our maintenance agreement is to water the planters. To do the ones on the poles, they have to have a special truck, and it costs a lot more money to water those.
Yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, I think if we just add plants to those beds and add some more planter pots, I feel like that'll solve a lot of the problems that we're having in terms of like just wanting it to look nicer and discourage the litter from accumulating in those planter pits.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So events, I left this on here from last month. A couple people had sent me event ideas to sort of discuss or flesh out further. At this next meeting. One was, Devon's Got Talent again, but outside in one of the parking lots if possible. Somebody else I think had suggested a movie night, and again in like one of the parking lots so that we don't have to do street closure permits or anything. Those were the only two that people had really brought up. I don't know if either of you guys that had suggested stuff want to talk about that some more now that we're in a meeting with all the commissioners, or almost all of them. We do have budget for this year for special events. The current budget for FY21, we have budgeted $76,000 for the special event category. I don't think we've spent any of it yet. So if people want to try and do some smaller scale stuff, like between now and the end of the summer, like we have budget, but if we're gonna do it, we need to move it forward quickly to get moving on planning.
Is there any deadline to submit proposal for this special events?
The city considers permits like basically as they get them. I mean, there's a bit of lead time, but the sooner that you submit them, the better. Like, so if we're looking to do an event in August or September, like the time to start submitting those permits would be as soon as we could.
Okay.
The city also charges, the closer you get to the event to submit your permit, they charge, the fees get higher and higher.
Yeah.
Okay, extra fees. Okay.
Yeah, extra fees the closer you get.
Okay.
Anybody have any dates in mind? Maybe after Labor Day weekend? Yes, no?
May, June, July.
I mean, this stuff is really kind of
June is
summer
just
stuff,
done.
really, you know, and when you start getting to fall, it's a little tricky. But
September should be okay, no?
yeah, maybe, sure.
Did an event in September before.
I don't care for the Devon's Got Talent event. I don't see how that benefits us much, frankly, but maybe there's something else, but that's just my
I think it
personal.
was Bank Pete is different. We get more people off the streets and people, I think being a Croatian center was too far off for us, my opinion. Anybody, any suggestions? Want to do this? Want to squash it? I say we do the event. We need to bring people out.
What event?
A event.
You want to do a event?
Something outdoors, something nice. Doesn't have to
We
be.
should definitely do something.
Maybe a movie night. I mean, I feel like that's, you know, not as complicated to put together as something like Devon's Got Talent, which usually, you know, we start planning beginning of the year for an event that happens end of September, beginning of October, or end of October. Sandy, how you've done more of these than I have. You know, is it realistic to try for a movie night in August or September, maybe?
It is, especially if we're not doing it on the street, if we use the parking lot.
I think we event during the day and a movie at the end, like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
There's a lot of Jewish holidays in September.
Yeah, September's a tough one.
I say,
August, maybe.
let's get a klezmer band.
It's still a holiday, it doesn't matter. I like the movie idea, but also at the same time, I would say maybe if you could pick out a few restaurants and have them, you know, serve free food to people. You know, we'll give them budget, and it'll be like hot dogs and hamburgers. You know, during the movie, whoever comes to the movie, it includes a meal or something. Yeah, something like that. That's a good idea, I think.
I like the movie have a theme, like culturally specific, not just some Incredibles cartoon. So maybe, you know, something like maybe like a Bollywood film one night, or maybe you know, maybe a double feature like that. You know, that's more cultural.
Bollywood is 3 hours long, right?
So what? They're small. They're shorter ones.
I think we should do that Bollywood night. Pete's been after it for a while. I agree with them.
Yeah, I think it would be cool.
I think make it
especially if we end up doing a Bollywood themed mural.
Yeah, but there's a problem then again with the Orthodox. If you want to include the Orthodox Jews, that's not gonna work.
They can watch the movie.
We can too. It's a movie. It's just a movie, and then we can have
they
another
cannot
movie.
bring their kids. There is inappropriate stuff there.
Well, we can pick a movie that's not inappropriate.
Yeah, or more than one. You know, you have one that's like a family friendly or something specific to the Orthodox community, and then maybe there's another one that's, you know, Bollywood specific or something else. You know,
I'm sure there's something that'll satisfy. Yeah, I'm sure there's some movies that'll satisfy. There's got to be. There's a zillion movies.
Yeah, there is.
Because it costs like a couple $100 to get the rights, and set up equipment is, you know, additional beyond that. But I think movie nights are something that we could deploy relatively quickly compared to something like a Devon's Got Talent, and still keeps, you know, it can be done in such a way that brings people to the street. which is the goal.
One of the
So can we-
problems we had before is
Date?
manning this thing, or personing this thing, I guess, is getting people to help with seating or popcorn or whatever the hell it is. You need bodies. You need people to do this. Maybe we
Yeah,
can
you-
incorporate the
I-
Westridge Chamber in here, you know?
Potentially, and I haven't been in contact with Larissa in a minute, but you know, maybe this is something where we could partner with them, especially because they're part of this al fresco program now, which includes, you know, some of these like pop-up plaza type events. You know, there's definitely some opportunities to collaborate there. If we want to, you know, identify some dates, I could reach out to Larissa and see if that's an option.
Yeah, can you figure out, Cindy or Avi, help us with what dates Jewish holidays fall under, so we can try to work around those and pick a
All
Sunday or something?
September is a goner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we talked about
August?
September 6, 7, 8, 15, 16, 20, 21, 22, 27, 28, 29.
September,
How about,
Sunday,
or-
September 12th.
right after Labor Day weekend, the weekend after?
Sunday, September 12th.
Sunday, September 12th, that's open.
That's what?
Open.
That's open.
So September 12th or 13th, pick a day and let's do something.
That's
Sunday might
Sunday
be
the
easier.
I
12th.
do that if you're gonna do September 12th or 13th. If you're gonna do a few movie nights, that September 12th or 13th shouldn't be a Bollywood night or something. Should do another night that's not so the more
So
you get
there's
most of.
Avi, we can run by you beforehand, that might work.
Okay, I mean, I'll be more
We
than
can
happy.
pick the movie later. Let's just narrow down a night and get the logistics going, and we can decide on a movie or whatever you want. Everybody
Yeah,
wants
I
that.
mean, I get 12 probably. The 12th probably 12 or 13 probably works best.
The 12th is a Saturday. We'd have to be after.
Oh no, 12th is a Sunday.
13. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at June. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, 12th is a Sunday.
Okay, perfect. So let's target the 12th, and then guys come up with ideas of what we're gonna bring to the table there, and then
Yeah.
use it for
Well,
meeting.
we have to figure out what movie we want, which might require asking somebody what's appropriate. You know, I mean, it's basically those Bollywood movies. Boy meets girl, they dance
Three
around a lot. Somebody's from the wrong side of the tracks.
They
So
run
prob-
around a tree.
Live with the Orthodox Jews.
Avi, go watch the preview for Three Idiots. Good movie.
The what?
It's called Three Idiots.
That's what? That's a Bollywood movie?
Yes.
What is it on YouTube?
Yeah, just go watch the preview on Google. Or
Hey,
something.
listen, if there is one kissing or one lady singing, it's out.
Oh, there's always singing. So
That's what I'm saying. If there is one lady singing or one kissing scene, it's done.
Oh, it's impossible to please everyone exactly.
That's why
Maybe we-
Deborah does a cartoon in the park, because the cartoon doesn't really, offend anybody.
Well,
So I
maybe
thought we
can have
were
multiple
thinking of
nights.
a double play. Yeah, like
Not the same
one-
day. We do 2 different days. Same day double play. That's a long time.
That is a long time. Yeah. I think it makes sense to do, to maybe look at doing more than one. You have one be,
Saturday night, Bollywood night, Sunday night, not Bollywood night. How about that?
That works.
all right. Are we figuring to maybe reach out about Republic Bank lot then?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish we could do it in a park or something.
That would be nicer.
Why can't we do it in the park? So what if it's not on
Out
Devon
of the
Avenue?
SSA, yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's the
doesn't have
trouble.
to be on Devon Avenue.
If we're using SSA money, it kind of does.
And the park, you have to get a permit and it costs
by
a lot of
Devon
money to
Avenue.
use the Park District facility.
It would be nice if we can make the parking lot look a little festive too.
Mhm.
Nothing crazy,
Clowns?
but just
Some
some kind of
clowns?
stuff strung around, some lights or some streamers or
We
something.
should get some clowns, Pete.
I like
It's
clowns.
the corner of
I still
Devon
want my
and
inflatable guy. I want my inflatable guy.
Devon and McCormick, that park in Devon and McCormick, that's not part of SSA.
It's just west of the SSA boundary, because the SSA boundary ends on your side of McCormick.
Pete, Avi, we could do it in your parking lot.
I was
For
just
the-
thinking that.
I don't think it's big enough. Is it big enough?
Yeah, it might be on the smaller side. We could definitely do Republic Bank, and we could maybe do Devon Bank. Because they're banks, they're not open on the weekend, so.
How about that park on Western? That's out of our boundary already?
Wells Park is too far north, yeah. Or, sorry, Warren Park.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't do it in the park without permit from the park district. I think
So
Sandy
that's
said that
if you
earlier.
go get a
Yeah.
permit. I don't understand that's not a big issue.
It's expensive.
Yeah, they have their own movies in the parks that they do, and I don't know that we could ask, but I don't know that it's possible now.
It's also, there isn't one in the SSA.
Yeah. No, I think the Republic Bank property makes sense. If they're amenable to it, we'll reach out to them. And ditto for Devon Bank, but I think Republic will be in here. What's that?
Rent chairs?
I feel like usually for these type of events, people bring their own, but
I mean, chairs are, you could get those plastic folding chairs for $1 or something. I don't, you could get a few hundred chairs and put them out. I mean, I would be for
We can
that.
encourage people to bring their chairs, but have some on the side
Yeah.
in case anyone.
that's true. That's an option. Just rent some.
So how about we give out food? How about we budget and give out like some kind of a hot dogs or hamburger or bag of chips for a hot dog, something like that.
I think just snacks. But whatever.
Well, and we
We've
want to
done
encourage
popcorn.
people to visit the restaurants too, and maybe having small bites available, like get people to try stuff.
We've done popcorn in the past. Republic Bank has a popcorn maker.
Oh, okay.
Popcorn.
I don't know if it's a draw. I mean, the movie is it's a very low budget thing. We could add more to it and make it more inviting for people.
I'm happy to pay for food and have a restaurant bring it, but as with what happened with Devon's Got Talent, even when we want to buy food from the restaurants, they don't seem to want to participate.
I
So-
did it. I have no problem doing it. What's wrong with that?
I think it's a movie night. You get popcorn, or even or if you want to go there, maybe ice cream or something like that.
Or that's you gotta rent the ice cream truck.
Yeah. So what? We get one
Like
of
a
those.
good humor,
We can get an ice cream food truck, sit out front. People can get ice cream.
Yeah, like a good humor truck. There is you could rent them hourly.
All right. Well, we can start getting getting the pieces in order. As far as date, location, any equipment rentals that we need to look at. But we do need to identify some movies that would be a fit for folks. And sort that out. But I think it's very doable.
How would we go about that? Is there some place that we can contact that will just clue us in?
I mean, there's companies that you have to go through to like get the rights for these things. And we've got those contacts because they've been used before.
Okay. I like the movie. I like the theme, the culturally specific movie. I think that's a better idea. It's no one's gonna rush out to see Incredible, or maybe they will. I don't know. I take it back.
Yeah, do something different.
I actually like The Incredibles. That was good.
I do too. But yeah, the Pixar movies get done to death for the movies in the parks and the outdoor movies around the city. So
Here's the thing.
we want to have something different.
I don't think the kids have attention span for a 3-hour Bollywood movie.
It doesn't have to be.
No, but kids aren't the intended audience for it. It's more to get adults out.
Parents are gonna leave the kids at home.
You're gonna draw people out here for something different. Hey, Bollywood movie night. You're gonna draw people.
But then they have to do 2 events. Do a Saturday Bollywood thing and then the Sunday family thing.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. Yeah, sure.
All right, so we got dates. Let's work on logistics and I guess have it ready for next meeting.
Sounds good. We'll work. We sort of have. I've got my notes, and we'll get started on that at the staff level to flesh it out ahead of the July meeting. New business. So 2022 budget. We will be needing to vote approval on 2022 budget at that July meeting, which may need to get moved up just because of the way that it aligns with the city's budget calendar. We're currently scheduled to meet July 19th. And that's toward the back half of like when the city wants commissioners to vote on budgets. We've submitted, draft figures to the city and are awaiting their notes. So that's sort of where we are in the process, but most of the July meeting, I think, will be where we're doing 2022 budget and service provider agreements again. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that that's coming. If there aren't any questions on budget, we can probably move into the 3 BIP applications that have been submitted.
Yeah,
Everyone-
Mr. Cindy, when we talk budget, can we have numbers shown to us, please?
Yeah, and I didn't change a whole lot from budget this year. That's always the starting point is, what is current budget? What things are people looking to do? I think we did have some discussion at the prior meeting, as to what people are interested in doing for next year. So pigeons was part of that. And there was some discussion on social media and events, but we'll get into that when we're doing the approvals. Yeah. So for BIPs, I can screen share sort of each of the proposals. I did send them around this morning. Were people able to open the attachments? I know they were big files.
I opened it. They look good to me.
Great. And then just sort of as a point of reference, we currently have $40,000 in the budget this year for BIPs. We've spent about 9 so far, and most of those were reimbursements where people had submitted last year and were turning in their receipts early this year. So we haven't really had a whole lot of BIP activity yet. But we've got 3 that have been submitted for today. So the first one I've got up here, I'll stop sharing the agenda so I can put up the drawings for Alini Hari. Where did it go? That's the wrong one. Oops. So this one, he's asking for funding for signage and an awning. It's kind of small there. I'm going to make it bigger. Oops. So this is one of the quotes, and this is sort of the rendering of what it will look like with the awning and lit. I think it's illuminated channel letter signage. So there's electrical involved in that, but he's provided 2 quotes. Both of the quotes were in excess of $10,000. So he's basically requesting the maximum rebate amount of $5,000. So he's got his 2 quotes here. And then here's a recent picture that I took last time I was over there, just sort of what it looks like now. So there's no awning there currently, and it's just a temporary vinyl sign that he's got up. So any questions or motions?
I motion to approve this BIP.
Me too. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pete's aye.
Any nays? Motion
All
passed.
right. Next up, we got Deck the Neck, which is next door to Ali's Nihari. So this is the current picture. So they've just got some vinyl on the windows. They're looking to add a sign above, again, illuminated channel letters. So here's the rendering of what they want to do. So it'll look like this. Again, they've provided 2 quotes. Because it's just the sign, there's no awning component to it. Both of those quotes are under 5,000, so we're looking at like a max of like 200 of 2,500 to 3,000 for that rebate. Any questions or motions?
Somebody second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Nays?
All right. Last one up is All American Medical Supply. So here's sort of the drawing of her signage plan as to what she's looking to do. So This calls for, again, this one's I don't remember the technical term for the way that the sign is constructed, but it's a new sign above, and then also a pedestrian level blade sign, which is in a second rendering. It's, if you're looking at it like in the middle here, there's like a line, whoops. But that is for this blade sign that'll hang underneath to be more visible to pedestrians walking on the street. This is another one where both of the quotes submitted were over 10,000, so requesting the max rebate of 5,000. And then here's the current facade. She's just got a temporary vinyl sign that's been up for a minute, so she's looking to put more permanent signage. Questions or motions?
I motion to approve this bid.
Me too. I second.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved.
Awesome. All right. That concludes BIPs. And I'll put the agenda back up, but I'm pretty sure that the next item on it is adjournment.
Somebody motion before she puts it up.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, so we are adjourned at 3:59. Thanks so much, everybody. Next meeting is gonna be July 19th.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Good meeting.
Thanks, folks. Have a good one.
Good job. Bye.
Bye.